Kosrae is our home, island of deep tradition and strong community. In 2021, we passed the Kosrae Disabilities Act, SL number 12-145, a promise of accessibility, dignity, and equality for all our citizens. But a law is only as strong as the action behind it.
So Bill 12191 was introduced during the 12th legislature regularization back in 2020. And it took us a while to fully understand what the intention and what does it mean to the people in general. So what happened back then, because I was involved with the committee that was discussing the bill, we had to do some public hearings. That is to let the people to get a better idea of what the bill was all about and how is it going to impact the people that we were targeting to assist, which is our people with disability. Passing the bill was the easiest part. Now the real work starts now.
The Department of Health Services is in charge of implementing the latest Disability Act for Kosrae State. So, Department of Health Services is now working closely with Kosrae State Legislature to amend the existing structure under Department of Health to create a new division, so-called Social Affairs, which the disability program will fall into. So hopefully by next month, the 13th Kosrae State Legislature will entertain this pending bill. So hopefully by next month, we will know the result. We already received signal for support, both from the new Governor Alik, and the Speaker Philip. They expressed their support to make sure this proposal, the amendment to restructure Department of Health Services, will be implemented or executed soon. So once the bill becomes the proposed amendment becomes effective, then we will proceed with securing the position for administrator or chief to lead this office, the new division under Department of Health Services, so-called Social Services. And hopefully after that, we'll include more services under this new division. The disability, the youth, the gender, and women, and aging. Those are some of the services that will fall under this new division, so-called Social Affairs. Right now, we're working very hard to develop the implementation plan that called by the law. Once this plan is completed, that will be our way forward.
For years, that action stalled. The administrative unit wasn't created. The funding wasn't secured. The core promises, like access to government buildings and supportive services, were frozen. The promise was stalled. When the system stalled, the community stepped forward. This is the story of how KSPN and the Disability Task Force, KDTF, launched Phase 7, not just to talk about change, but to force it. The goal was clear: get the government to formally adopt the official implementation plan and secure the necessary funding at the upcoming summit. Phase 7 was the advocacy engine. We used our PPAC grant resources to systematically resolve the administrative crisis. First, we had to get the task force back to the table, focused on one key deliverable, the KDP framework. The meetings with the executive and legislative leadership were crucial. We didn't just ask for support, we presented a solution. We secured the commitment for the upcoming summit, giving the state a deadline to act. We tackled the core problems head-on. Focus Area 6, the infrastructure crisis, was the biggest challenge. The current building code doesn't mandate accessibility. Our Phase 7 committees finalized the strategy to fix this systemically. The result of Phase 7 is this document, the DHS official KDP implementation plan, fiscal years 2025 to 2027. It fulfills the legal duty of the Director of Health Services and creates the mechanism for sustainable, permanent change.
People with disabilities.
KSPN leader, quote SOT, this is no longer a proposal, it is the state's official plan. Now it is time for the summit to make it official and fund it. The KDP framework is a 3-year plan for full legal compliance and service expansion. Year 1, Phase 1 is about foundation, $135,000. We established the single most important mechanism for accountability. Pillar 1, foundational structure, 52% of the budget. We hire the SSD program coordinator and create the permanent administrative unit within DHS. This is where accountability lives. We solve the building code problem immediately. We hire an external technical expert to assess the current code against international standards. This $35,000 investment fixes the systemic failure of the past 4 years and sets up the code revision for year 2. And most importantly, we initiate direct service on day 1, the Assistive Devices Fund. This $30,000 category provides the first tangible community benefit, fulfilling the social services mandate. Year 2, Phase 2, is about remediation and capacity. We shift focus and funding. The expensive external expert is done. Now we use their report to implement the formal DTC&I code revision and expand local interagency training for departments like education and police. Year 3, Phase 3 is about program expansion and stability. The largest part of the budget now goes to services. We increase the Assistive Devices Fund to $50,000, begin planning other mandated services, and transition the program to securing permanent state funding lines. This plan demonstrates responsible financial evolution, showing how we move from startup costs to maximum community benefit. The investment is small, but the returns are generational. The upcoming summit is the final step. All the work of KSPN and the KDTF leads to this moment. The plan is complete. The funding need is identified. The decision rests with the state leaders. On day 2, Committee A must make the motion. The task force formally adopts the KDP implementation plan, fiscal year 2025 to 2027, and certifies the year 1 budget of $135,000 as the minimum legal liability to be sought from the legislature. The successful adoption of this plan will allow the entire community to celebrate more than just Disability Day on December 3rd. We will celebrate the anticipated permanent implementation and funding of a program that ensures a joyful, accessible, and truly inclusive Kosrae for every citizen. This is the face of progress. This is what happens when community, civil society, and government work together. We thank the Pacific People Advancing Change, PPAC program, for funding Phase 7, and every member of the task force who worked tirelessly to bring this framework to fruition.